everyone, welcome to the 2026 Virtual Poultry Show. Today we are going, in this live stream, we are doing our open quail judging. So we've got Jen Jordan here to go through all of our open quail entries. Before we begin, just want to thank today's judge for going through all of the birds. It takes a lot of thought, a lot of skill, and time to be able to do everything. And we really appreciate our judges willing to share their knowledge with everyone. We also appreciate all of you guys joining us today, whether you're an exhibitor, breeder, or just someone watching and has never seen a show before. We've got a great lineup of birds and are excited to get started. So if we know that quail shows are pretty new yet, and we do have the draft standard, which is what we're judging by from the American Standard of Perfection. And as you are going along, feel free to reference that if you're a member of the ACBA, and know that that's what we're using to base everything off of. Feel free to ask questions throughout. It's a learning experience, and Jen is here to hopefully talk us through everything. Also like to thank sponsors for making the event happen. Obviously, we've got our gold sponsors. As Pips and Chicks, we host the show, but really different sections of Pips and Chicks help us pay for it. So the auctions show pays for the platform. The auctions is where you can buy and sell birds, completely free to use. Go check it out. List hatching eggs, list actual birds. There's local and shipping options available. We also have Poultry Pro, which is our management software that pays for most of our judges. There's different features on there and different subscription levels. So there's a completely free option for anyone that wants to start it out. You can track finances, you can track incubation, hatch rate, production, pedigrees, genetics, the whole works. On top of that, we also have the American Indio Gigante Breeders Association, the Family Heritage Acres, Poultry Nerds Podcast. All of them are top sponsors, which means that they help pay for our judges and our platform. Then for our champion sponsors, we have Blossom Valley Homestead, the American Coturnix Breeders Association, or the ACBA, BZ Quail Farm. And then our class sponsors for today are Chicken Feed News, Ant Hill Farm, Peaceful Freckled Meadow Farms, Stillwater Poultry, Phantom Farm, the American Coturnix Breeders Association again, HGF Farms, Thieving Otter Farm, and Sweet Kin Farms. So if you know any of the sponsors, be sure to give them a huge shout out. We really appreciate them, and we would not be able to keep this show free without them. So yeah, I think that's all I've got for my spiel. Jen, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
I am Jen Jordan. I am a long-term quail breeder in Central Texas. We run a farmstead down here. I've been raising quail for about 15 years, and my passion is genetics and showing. I actually am show committee chair for the ACBA and also ACBA vice president now. And it is a passion of mine to get these birds out into the world, get them in front of judges, and let people enjoy them as much as I do.
Yeah. So with that, Jen has gone through and sorted most of them already. And we're going to share my screen here. Oops, so that she can see them. And then she'll talk along, and I'm just here to flip pages.
Basically, yeah. I have only had internet for about a month, and I definitely don't have technology that is conducive of a lot of this. So our first category is any other mutation, any other color, and it usually starts with males. There's always been a little bit of question as to why we do old male and old female at the tops of those categories. The reason for that, for those coming from the poultry world or maybe never done shows before, is because most poultry requires the bird to be a year old in order to qualify for adult status in that show. Quail run a little bit different. So anything over 6 to 8 weeks old is considered old or mature for us. So that is the distinction on those. So that is why that category is the way that it is. The first one up is Shirley. And Shirley looks to be a Manchurian, maybe with a little bit of white in there. I don't know if it would be progressive pied or something. It's a little bit hard to tell from the picture. Shirley has a straight, kind of straight back, but the head is good and the eyes are a little bit on the round side. The the eyes should be more of an almond shape for Coturnix, but round, there's a little bit of variation in there, and of course breeder preference comes into play. The front facing photo could possibly make him look a little bit asymmetrical, and the tail appears to drop off on that side profile picture a little bit. It's hard to, sorry, I have a cat that is trying to get up in my business here. It's a little bit hard with the photo to see, but it looks like it might drop off a little bit. And the feathering on this guy is a little on the loose side. However, I did choose to place him as fifth. And as a note in there, we are going off of the ACBA Standard of Perfection draft. And in there, there are some point deductions, and he does have a broken primary feather. So that would be a -1 point. There are 100 points that are available to each bird. Some of the decisions that I've made, I haven't necessarily gone fully off of the points that they would have, like this bird got a 97 or this bird got a 95. But if I have a close call between a couple of birds, I am taking those points into consideration. So that is just a note on that one. The next one would be APM1, or this one. And a few of these pictures, there's a lot of shadowing in the pictures, which makes it a little bit harder to see the details of the birds that we are looking for. So I would kind of like to see it in a little bit better light, especially for a darker bird. But overall, this is a good looking bird. The stop, which is the space between the beak and the forehead, is a little bit stronger than I would like to see. The curve of the back is nice on this guy. The legs look a little bit on the thin side, and it looks like, especially in that front profile picture, that he could stand maybe a little bit of filling out. But when you look at the slope of his back, there's a nice curve there, and there is a nice angle when you drop down from the head and then curve towards the feet. We want to see that angle to be about 135 degrees. So there is a curve there. I can see it. That shows me that there's some breast meat, but looking from the front picture, part of it could be how he's standing, but I want to see a bird that gives me a nice pear shape or almost a bowling pin shape between the head and the base of the belly when we're looking from that front profile. The wings are a little bit hard to see. I can't really see the primaries in this one, but overall, a decent looking bird. Next one would be CDM1. The back on this guy, it's not pulled up on the screen yet, but when it does get up here, so CDM1, the back on this guy appears to be, I may have to put my cat outside, appears to be a little bit straight. And sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. This guy looks like he may be compound heterozygote, probably Cardoon and German Pansy. I'm not sure. Very dark markings, some unique markings, but they are pretty balanced between like the stripes going down the back of the bird, and the wings look pretty even to each other. The eyes have a good shape. The wing is a little bit low. Am I looking at the right? Yes, wing is a little bit low. Overall, the feathering is tighter than like that first one, the Shirley that we looked at. The feathering is a little bit tighter and closer to the body on this bird, which I like to see. I did place this one fourth. The next one, JCM1, the front facing picture looks a little bit uneven, maybe because, oh, there we go, because of the surface that it's standing on. Like to have them on a nice flat level surface so that we can see what those legs are doing. We want the legs to be parallel to each other, evenly spaced, not bowing in, not bowing out, not too wide or too narrow in comparison to where the hip bones would be. The curve on this guy is good, and the breast or chest angle is really good on this one. Nice almond eyes. The feather condition is a little bit rough. That is allowed for and expected in the mating areas, which would be the head and the back, not so much on the primary feathers. So there would be some point deductions with the primary feathers for this bird. I do like in the wing spread picture that I can see the bottoms of the feet. That in a live show, that is one of the things that would be judged, is the condition of the feet. So being able to see the bottoms of the feet, I know that's not always possible in pictures. The birds aren't always cooperative, but it is nice to be able to see that. There is a little bit in both wings. I'm not sure if the axial feather, which is the feather between the primaries and the secondary feathers along the wing, if it's just short, or if it's broken, considering the feather condition. But that might be something to look at with that bird. That can be a genetic factor. If that's a weak spot in that line, you could end up with a split wing situation at some point if that continues to breed down. So I did place that one in first, I believe. And the reason for that, the next one should be Italian rooster. Sorry, I had those out of order. Yeah. The Italian rooster, I really like this bird. I like the length of the wings on this bird. I like the fullness of the wings on this bird, but it is Italian, and it really should have been placed into the Italian category, because this is the any other mutation category, and because there are some phenotypes that have some nuances that may be harder to see in pictures. I'm not going to dock this one for being in the incorrect category as much as I normally would, but I am going to place him second for that reason. But again, I really like the fullness and length of the wings. He does carry himself really well in the side profile picture in the second group of pictures there. The front facing picture, he is sitting a little bit wonky, and I would like to see feet more in the photos, but he has a good curve to his back, good eye shape, looks to maybe possibly be a little bit older than some of the other birds. And he does need a nail trim. So another point factor as far as deductions for the SOP. If there is a nail that is long enough to cause the joint to curve, that can be a minus half point, and then he is missing a toenail, so that is another minus half point for him. And then the next one is Pepsi. I placed Pepsi third. I do like this bird's shape a lot. I like the length of this bird's legs. One of the things you're looking for is you want the legs to be about a quarter of the height of the bird, and this bird is pretty accurate. For that, this bird probably could have been placed in any other white as well, but I think it's fine in this category too. It has the good pear shape when you are looking at it from the front view. a good example of the Tibetan pattern. And the only other note that I had on this bird was a possible gap in the upper to lower beak, but there again, that's something that is hard to tell from pictures. I do like that you can see the tail feathers on this guy as well. That's not always possible in some of the pictures. So we can go on to the next one. APM2 has a good slope to the back. The eyes are a little on the round side, and he seems to be a little bit uneven overall. I took that in all three pictures. The front facing, he's kind of holding his right leg a little wonky, and when he's standing, it almost looks like the weight is getting put on that back leg a little bit more, and then maybe a little bit of a curve in the wing spread photo. That could just all be photos, but that might be something that I would look at a little bit closer with the bird. If I was at a live show, I would watch how it walks in that kind of thing. I do like the shape of this bird overall, but watch the hips and watch the strength of the legs and just make sure that they are supporting themselves well. And the last one in this group, Sylvester.
Did you do APM2 and we went and then Sylvester?
Yes.
Okay. I've been jumping back and
That's
forth
okay.
between this one and the open large fowl right now. So I think we're on.
So I didn't talk about Sylvester, so we can talk about him really quick.
Okay.
So this one, the pictures are all in different lighting. I'm not sure if this bird is maybe Andalusian. I'm guessing Andalusian. One patch looks like it's a little bit different color than the others, but it's possible that it could be blue or some other diluter. The different lighting of the pictures could make a judge think that it is a different bird. So just keep that in mind when you're taking pictures. But it looks like it has a good slope to his back. The wing is a little bit low, but overall it is a good bird. It does look like it could stand a little bit of filling out. There again, that front facing picture, you can't really quite see the pear shape. It could be the angle of the picture. It could just be the age of the bird. But we are really looking for the pear shape that shows us the fuller breast. So, okay, we can move on to the hens. All right, and this is going to be out of order, then we can go off of your order and I'll just skip around on my notes. So Amy, I did place Amy second. She has a very nice slope to her back and a chest angle. I really like this bird a lot. I do find the pattern on her back interesting with progressive pied. It does kind of take away from the symmetrical aspect that we sometimes talk about because of the nature of progressive pied. It's going to interrupt that. But there is some unique striations down the back of this bird that I haven't seen before. I would be interested in talking to whoever's bird this is to find out what they know about it. But I do like her overall. In the front facing picture, her legs look like they could be a little bit on the thin side, but they definitely look better in the side profile picture. And again, I did place her second. We can go on to the next one. APFF1. This bird, the feathers are a little bit on the loose side, good eye shape, and good slope to the back, but it is hard to see the legs. Again, we are judging the toes, we're judging the feet, and we're judging the angle of the legs and how they sit in relation to each other and the body. But overall, not a bad bird. definitely a full chest. You can definitely see some of that pear shape. But her wings overall, she could just be kind of porcupining a little bit, floofing up as the pictures are being taken. But the feather looks a little bit loose on her. But otherwise, she is a good bird. And we can move on to the next one. JCF2, I did place in third place. A good slope to the back and angle to the chest. The eyes may be a little bit on the small side, but the wings are nice and tight in this bird, and this is a cardoon bird. I do like in the side profile picture that the bird is not in a full alert stance. Kind of gives a little bit of that potato look. When they're a little bit more alert stance, they can look a little bit more angular, and sometimes that can make the back look shorter than it is. This is a good side profile picture, but feather condition again could be a little bit stronger in these birds, but I do like how tight she is holding her wing and her overall shape. We can go to the next one. Helga, here she is standing up a little bit tall, and maybe the angle of the photo could be a little bit of a short back or a little bit of a straight back, or maybe not. That again, that could just be depending on the photo. She does have a nice chest angle. Her neck is a little bit on the long side proportionally, just from what I can tell collectively from the three photos. That to me isn't a game changer, but one of the things that I had noted, looks like she may be a little bit on the young side and maybe a little bit more filling out, but overall, nice bird. Next one. And Mean Arlene, I love this name. That is cute. So let me see where I have her notes. The legs look nice and straight and parallel. The back looks like it may drop off a little bit right at the tail feathers. Again, that could be the angle or how the bird is poofing. The length of the wings is good in the wing spread photo. I do like to see them spread out quite a distance that way. I have noticed with some quail through the years that they can be a little bit tight in their wings, whether it's because they just aren't super active with them or whatever. But one of the things you want to make sure of is that they have good proportional length in all of their wing sections. And so when you're selecting a bird, you want to be looking at that and making sure that all the parts and pieces are there and in the correct proportions. And I do like that I can see that on her. Okay, we can move to the next one. Progressive Pied. She is carrying her wing a little bit low. Her back is pretty long, but it looks pretty straight until you get close to the tail. Would like to maybe see a little bit more curve. The beak looks like it has a little bit of misalignment, and possible bottom beak overgrowth. If that is the case, that could technically be a disqualification. It is hard to see with the photos. And with the beak issues, and it may be the photo again too, but it looks like the eyes possibly are a little bit sunken, which is something you want to avoid. But sunken eyes does happen if there is some beak deformity as well. So just keep that in mind when you are picking breeders. But overall, she has good length to her body, good pear shape in that front picture, and just watch the beak and give her a closer look at and assess it that way. Okay. And Rue Pansy Hen. Did we skip ahead? Nope, there, I found her. Okay, you're good. This one I placed first. The primary feathers are a little bit rough, and it is a little bit hard to see what the axial feather, the feather in between the primaries and the secondaries, is doing. But you can see a little bit of a gap between the primaries and the secondaries in both wings of that wing spread photo. She has a good eye shape, good chest angle, holds herself well. Overall, good looking bird. Um, very uniform pattern is exactly as it should be. So yeah, just take a look at those wings and make sure that that axial feather is there and doing what it should. But otherwise, good bird. And she is first place. And PPP. It is hard with the heat to get pictures of birds with the beaks closed. And I understand that I live in Central Texas. But from what I can see with the beak, there is not much of a stop, which again is where the beak meets the forehead. It looks like it's all pretty sloped right there. The eyes are a little bit too round for my taste. Again, some of that is breeder discretion. The chest angle and back appear to be good. Overall, this is a decent bird. Good strong legs. So we can move on to the next one. And there's two Hildas. So let me make sure I'm looking at the correct Hilda. They should be side by side. Yeah, so this is first Hilda. All right. So nice straight legs. Yep, that one. Yep. Nice straight legs, good leg length. Overall, a nice bird, very well filled out. Like that you can see that those legs are very parallel to each other and the correct ratio. About a quarter of the length of the bird. Again, with a progressive pied, the symmetrical pattern kind of goes out the window, but it does make for a very unique and beautiful bird. And I did like this bird. There was a few of them that it was really hard to determine who was going to get placed where. So we can go to the next Hilda. And this one, she has a nice slope to her back, a nice full chest. Back could maybe be a little bit more curved. The neck is maybe a little bit on the short side, but some of that is just, how alert the bird is standing. Looks like there may be some toenail damage. The eyes are a good shape. Lots of thick feathers, and the wing tucks very well on this bird. Yeah, overall, good bird. APF1. To me, the legs on this bird are either a little bit long or the back is a little bit short. And there again, that's one of the things that's hard to tell in photos. And also the back is a little bit on the straight side. The head is nice and there is a good chest angle. The longer legs, or even how the bird is standing in the photos, can't quite see the pear shape as well in the front facing photo as you can in some of the others. But overall, nice bird. Legs are maybe a little bit wide in the side profile picture, but you can definitely see in the front facing photo that they are parallel to each other and the bird is standing the way that it should. And Luna. Again, the legs seem to be sitting a little bit wide. Whoever's person this bird belongs to, I would maybe watch and see how they walk. That is something I would do at a live show. Just make sure that they aren't getting too close to the ground because of the width of the legs, aren't dragging their belly or something along those lines. But overall, back is a little bit straight, but very well filled out. It has that good pear shape from the front view, has nice beak and head. And I love the expressive eyebrows. I will just say that about this bird. I like it when they kind of almost get the angry bird look. JCF1. This one I placed fifth. Legs look maybe a little bit wide again, or maybe just sitting a little bit squatty. There's a good slope to the back and a good angle to the chest. The stop is a little bit sharp from the angle of the photo. Good eye shape and possible missing toenail in that side profile picture, but again, that's a little bit hard to see. But overall, good bird, and I did place that one. APFF2 looks maybe a little bit young, and legs maybe look a little bit close together, but some of that could be the age or just how the bird is standing. Very alert stance in the side profile picture, which, like I said, could make the back look short. I think that this bird probably is pretty proportional. You can see that chest angle in this photo too. Good bird overall. And again, feather condition on the primaries. So. APF2. Yeah, APF2. That's FF2. So the next one.
Oh, okay. There's two APF2s.
There we go.
Okay.
Can you go forward
Yep.
one?
Okay. I was like, wait a second.
Right. Yeah, they're close in name. So this bird looks pretty filled out from the side profile, but looks a little bit thin from the front profile picture. Could just be on the young side. Again, watch the lighting of your pictures. It does make it hard to see details like where that wing is sitting, if it's in a lot of shadow, or for us to be able to look at the feet and see what the toes are doing. Legs look to be nice and thick, and back is slightly on the straight side, but overall, good bird. And I think there's one more. Cole, I did place fourth. Just a note on the pictures, the bottom picture should be front facing, instead it is the back of the bird going forward. However, the side profile picture does give me somewhat of a front view as well. The back is a little bit straight on this bird. I do really like the chest angle. Overall, from what I can see, this is a bird that I would like and probably stick with. I would like to be able to see the feet in the pictures. Again, I placed this bird fourth. There may be one more. All right, yeah. And Ebony. So this one, I'm not sure from the photos if she's carrying her weight well or not. One of the things that you can check as a bird owner is the hip bones, if they're flaring out or sinking in, and just the overall spacing. Just the way that she's standing in some of these photos, I would maybe question her ability to support the weight a little bit. I like the markings on her face. I think it's cute to have those little dashes going up onto the forehead. Reading my notes. And maybe with the wing photo, we're getting a lot of the back in that and not so much the wings. Again, like there's just being able to see that connection between the primaries and the secondaries. But overall, all right, bird seems a little bit unbalanced, but I just would maybe check the hips in person. Some of it could be angles of photos, but color is nice and strong and dark on her. Okay, we can move on. Okay, so I placed.
I was going to say, do you want
one as?
Do you want individual ones, or do you want the whole? Because this one is the all other colors.
Yeah. So in this one, this is just like class placing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did first place as the Rue Pansy Hen, second place as JCM1, and then the Italian Rooster after that, and Amy following that. Again, that Italian Rooster probably would have placed a little bit higher had it been in the correct category. But overall, is it best of variety? Yeah, so best of variety goes to the Rue Pansy Hen, and reserve variety is JCM1. Okay, and calico males. So calico rooster 1 has a nice curve to the back, full chest. Wings are filled out very well, and wings are nice and tight. I did place, or I want to place this one as first. I can get onto that screen here. Okay, and we can go to the next one, Calico Rooster 2. He is standing up pretty tall in his picture. It does make his back look a little bit straight. Again, that could be the picture. It does really show his chest angle. He has nice almond-shaped eyes, but his wing does sit a little bit lower than the other one, and I did place him third. And the next one is Oz Snowy Calico Rooster. This one, I do like the back slope and the breast angle. The stop on the beak is a little bit lacking. I like to see a little bit more. It kind of makes the forehead look like it's sloping straight into the beak. And some of that is personal preference. The front facing picture, the leg looks like it is turned a little bit in, but from the other pictures, can tell that it's standing well. And wing looks to be a little bit low on that one as well. So that one is second. We can go on to the females.
Sorry, jumping from the large pro because I had a question. So we placed that one. I think you said Calico Rooster 2 was third.
Yes.
And
I got them placed. I went forward on the thing. Go ahead.
Oh, what was the placing on that one again?
Calico Rooster 1 is first, Calico Rooster 2 is third, and Snowy.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yep.
Just
It
showed
just
up.
took a
Okay.
minute for it to transfer from my phone.
No worries.
Sorry. Okay, so we are on to the hens. So CF1, Calico Phi, maybe heterozygous Phi. Maybe just Calico. It's a little bit hard to tell. Would like to see the legs a little bit better on this one. Neck looks like it could maybe be a little bit short. The back is okay with slope and it is filled out well. I did place her third. And RCF1. The back looks like it could be a little bit on the straight side. Would like to see a little bit more of a curve. The breast angle is great on this bird. Leg length is also good on this bird. That quarter of the bird height there is marked well for a calico female with the broken chin markings. And what I mean by that is the chin strap that is underneath the beak that goes onto the chest. So there is gaps in that line for this bird. That is one of the things when we are feather sexing calico that we look for. It's not always going to be the case, and we will see that in the next bird. But it does make it easier to feather sex when the hens have that broken chin marking. So she is getting second. And the next one is Calico Hen 1, and she is going to place first. Very bold markings, very strong. Little bit tricky to try and get pictures, but I can tell, if a hand was ran along the back of that bird, that those striations would line up and be pretty symmetrical and uniform. You can see on this bird that the chin strap underneath her beak is very strong. So if this were my bird, even though I can see near her ears, there's the little curve that goes by her ear. Overall, I would look at this bird and say likely female, but if it were my bird, I would vent sex to be sure. Again, I do like that I can see the pads of the feet in the wing spread photo. I do like that I can see in the side profile that the legs are parallel to each other and standing straight. Overall, really good bird, really good markings. You can see the weight on her. The angle of the chest maybe isn't quite as sharp as some of the others that we've seen, but you can still see it there, even though it's a little bit more of a smooth curve. So she is first place. And it may take just a minute for that to, nope, they all four pulled up. Okay. So then placings for them, champion or best of variety, I guess is what we are calling this. Best of variety is going to be Calico Hen 1. And reserve variety is Calico Rooster 1. Did you want me to place the other two, or we just do
No,
best
just
and reserve?
Best in reserve for varieties.
What's that?
Just best in reserve for varieties.
Perfect. Okay. All right. And then we are moving on to Egyptian, which is Rue wild type. And she is the only one. Her neck looks maybe a little bit short, but overall, she has a good slope to her back. Legs may be sitting a little bit wide, but overall nice filled out bird, good looking bird, good beak. Eyes a little on the round side, but not bad. And she is first place. And she is also going to be best of variety. And then we are on to Fee. Okay, female MM1. He is heterozygous sparkly, and he has a nice slope to his back. Maybe it's a little bit hard to tell when E. locus genes are involved. Maybe heterozygous Phi. I'm guessing homozygous Phi, though there is a little bit of brown that is popping through on the chest. And he is going to be first place. The second male in this category, coconuts. I would like to see him standing. None of these photos have him standing. I can't really tell the slope of the back or have a good look at the feet. With him, he is Phi, looks like probably pearl Phi. But he will be second place. And I think this was also a junior entry, which I didn't fully watch all of the junior show, but it can be trickier to get photos. But when you are learning to do the photos and stuff, just make sure that you are getting all of the parts and pieces somehow between the 3 to 5 photos that you do. All right, and the females. And that first one, Baby You Graw on Me, that's a cute name. She is a Graffy, and she has some serious face wrinkles. It's pretty cute. The back is a little bit straight. I do just love that face. The breast angle is good and good eye shape on this bird. So I don't know, Bree, do you want to zoom in and show that front facing photo with all of her face wrinkles? It's pretty cute.
No, you're just fine.
Repeat
so
that, please.
Video,
Sorry. I asked if you wanted to zoom in on her face a little bit and show off her face wrinkles
and again,
on the front facing photo.
Yeah, okay.
So if we're assuming a red.
Okay. Do you need me to go to the next one?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, Merle APC hen. I like this bird a lot. She is going to get first. The wing is a little bit on the loose side, but the stance is good. The curve to the back and the chest angle are good. Again, a little bit smoother than some of the others that we've seen, but you can still see that the angle is there. She looks like she might be on the young side and could stand a little bit more filling out in that front facing photo. And possibly, if she is on the young side, a little bit of overgrowth on that top beak. Maybe keep an eye on that. But overall, very good looking bird. And a pansy Phi hen. And you probably noticed the difference between the previous one and this one. American Pansy overall has stronger scallops. This one, the scallops are a little bit less dominant. So the Pansy Phi hen, she needs a little bit better stop on her beak. Again, it's almost just like a straight curve from her forehead down to the tip of her beak. So there, you don't want a huge break at that stop, but you also don't want it to be totally smooth either. The wing is tucked better on this bird than on the previous one, and she does have a nice full chest. She is going to take second. And then we have Fee. In this bird, in the front or side profile picture, the first picture, the back end looks like she kind of drops off a little bit. That could be the angle of the photo, but it looks like there's kind of a steep drop off at her tail. Legs look nice and thick, like she can hold her weight. She does have a toe curl, maybe two of them. It could be what she is standing on, but a trim of those toenails should allow that to flatten out. Again, you don't want to have toenail condition or the way that the toenails grow affect how the joints of the feet work. You can go to the next one. She's going to take third, by the way, the fee hen. The falb fee hen. Nope, other way. The falb fee hen, it could be how she's standing or the angle of the picture. Body looks like it may be a little bit on the short side. She's a nice example of homozygous fee, which is fee and no other pattern modifiers on the wild type pattern. The eye looks pretty good, but it is hard to see the shape of the eye in these photos. And her face overall is kind of turned away from the camera in that side profile, so it does make it a little bit tricky to see what the beak and stuff are doing as well. She is going to take fourth. Oops. And SFMF1. Again, she's standing up pretty tall. I can see quite a bit of length in her despite how tall she is standing up. Legs seem to maybe be a little bit thin, but again, it's hard to tell from the photos. Feather condition of the wings, some broken primaries, and she is going to take fifth. Okay, and for best of variety, it is the Merle AP hen, and reserve variety is MM1. Okay, Andalusian Rooster 1. The side profile picture back looks to be pretty straight. Again, could be the angle of the photo. The bird is very alert in this case. I do like the big patch of Manchurian showing through on this bird, that bright yellow patch. Primary feathers, there is some damage to those, so that, again, that would be a -1 point, potentially more depending on how damaged they were. But overall, good bird, and this bird is going to place first. We can go to the next one. ASM1. Good length of wing, but it is hanging a little bit low. The beak from the angle of the photos looks like it could be a little bit short, and it looks like there may be a little bit of a toe curl from the toenails. But this bird is going to place second. And this pretty girl is standing all on her own, so she is going to be first. She has a nice almond eye, a good back slope. Looks like she may be missing a toenail on the middle toe of her right foot. But she is the only one in this section. and her body shape is good. She's going to take first. And best of variety is going to be Andalusian Rooster 1, and reserve of variety is going to be ASM 1. Okay, sparkling. So here again, knowing your variety and what they're supposed to be. And this first bird is sparkly, this sparkly fawn. I know that we are in any other mutation right now, which is fine. That does come into play a little bit with my placement of this bird. Because it is not just sparkly. But overall, the sparkly fawn, I like the pear shape, the front facing picture. You can really see that pear shape. You can see a good slope to the back, and a little bit of that chest angle in the side profile there. It is a little bit hard to see in the wing spread what the condition of the primaries are. We can go to the next one. And this one is sparkly. It looks like probably sparkly fee. It overall has a good body shape, nice chest angle, pretty good slope to the back. It does look like it may have a little bit of beak overgrowth. Little bit of damage to the primary feathers, but I can see them a little bit better in this photo, and this bird is going to place first. And the hens, GSFF1. Good shape overall. There is some significant beak overgrowth for the top beak in this bird, so that would be a -1 point. But good slope to the back, good angle. Legs are parallel to each other, exactly what we are looking for, and homozygous sparkly. And she is going to place third. GSF1. Again, you can see the pear shape in that front facing photo. She's maybe a little bit small compared to some of the others, maybe just needs to grow out a little bit. Back does look a little bit straight, and the stop between her beak and her forehead is a little bit strong. It makes her forehead look a little bit bigger. But overall, good bird. She is going to place fourth. SFF1, possible toenail curl. Back is maybe a little bit straight. She's kind of facing away from the camera. Overall, good looking bird, and she is going to place first in her category. GSF2, again, could stand some filling out, probably a young bird. Pretty upright, hard to see the back length on her, but it looks like she has a decent slope, probably pretty good length on her. And maybe in the front facing photo, with the background, it's a little bit hard to tell, but it looks like she may have a little bit of a cross beak. And that's just a note on my part. I didn't dock anything for that because I cannot see for sure. She is going to place fifth. Oops. I'm messing up my placings on here just a second. Okay. SFF2, a slight beak overgrowth, and her back is maybe a little bit straight, but overall good looking bird. Legs are nice and parallel, and she is going to place second. And best of variety champion for the Sparklies is going to be in the males, SFM1. And reserve champion is going to be the hen, SFF2.
Yellow leg
Um,
big bird from
let me
Sesame Street.
double check.
This Dominique does a
SF
better job in terms of light color. It has a well
SFF2 took second in the,
cockerel.
I
Say
think.
he's,
Nope. Nope, we're good. Okay. Wait.
uh,
Yeah, SFF2 I have as second in
black, white.
Oh,
Old
sorry. It is. I do have my reserve as SFF1. Sorry. I was looking at the wrong thing.
Okay. And then that'll be
SFF1 should
reserve. And
be
then,
reserve.
45
okay.
degrees.
And
Let me go
then
back.
yeah, I'll just drop that. Okay. I was like, wait a second. And then they're both the same kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. That should fix that. All right. And then we are to best of breed for that group. And I need to scroll through really quick and look. We are going to, well, this is a hard one. Calico Hen 1 is going to be best of breed. And Merle Fee AP Hen is reserve of breed.
And so for everyone confused, when it's set the way APA shows are set up, it goes like your age and then your sex and then your variety and then your breed and then your class. So they have best of breed here, even though the only breed is Caternix, but really it would be best in class. So it'll follow the same placings for best in class.
Right.
So, and I know Jen knows this, but everyone watching at home wondering why the heck are we choosing best of breed when we haven't gone through all the birds?
It's the way we have to build the tree.
Exactly. Otherwise, the computer gets really, really angry at you.
Right. And Bree and I did talk about how the tree was going to get built before this, but
it seemed to go much smoother this year.
it did. It did.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Hopefully it
So
should
now
stay.
we are moving on. Yeah. We're kind of moving out of the any other mutation into actual more known or defined mutations. These next few groups are actually going to be some of the first ones that are going to be eventually released in the color section of the SOP for the American Caternix Breeders Association. So EB, which includes Rosetta and Tibetan, Sparkly, Fawn, which includes Italian Manchurian, those kind of things, are genes that we know a lot about. Some of those are going to be in the first wave of color release, some of them aren't. But so we've moved out of the any other mutation and we are now into specific varieties that will have definitions sooner rather than later, as far as those who like to have categories for showing. That is one of the things that we are moving towards. So we are on to Rosetta, which is one copy of EB. Um, Looking at this bird, she is not Rosetta. She is Tibetan. She may have some fawn enhancement. That's a little bit hard to tell in the picture. But one of the key defining factors between Rosetta and Tibetan is Rosetta will have a light colored or white feather shaft, which is the vein that goes down the middle of the feather. And Tibetan will not. Tibetan will have a dark feather shaft. And so this bird, to me, is a Tibetan. Again, it may have some fawn enhancement, but this bird is placed into the incorrect category. I really like this bird. I like the beak shape on this bird. I like the stop on this bird. The eye shape is awesome. Nice slope to the back. I like that you can see the tail feathers, good chest angle, good strong legs. Overall, I really like this bird. However, I am not placing this bird because it is in the wrong category. And I do want to say to all the people watching and listening, even if you are not an ACBA member, there are Facebook groups and people who are willing to help and guide you as to what your bird is. And I know that Bree, every year that she puts on this show, does let people know that she is available to answer and help as well as to what category your bird should be placed in. I know some of that will get easier as the SOP has a color standard written. But as a judge, I am choosing to not place this bird simply because it is in the incorrect category. Otherwise, there's nothing wrong with this bird at all.
Do you want then best of Rosetta? Do you want it placed first, or do you want it to just no place and no Rosettas?
No placement. Yeah.
And then no
No
Rosettas total. And then
Right.
Tibetan old males.
Yes, and so we're going to have some of the same issue with Tibetan. Here again, yes, this bird is Tibetan, but this is a bird that is Tibetan with roux. And so if we were looking at a color definition and what a judge could pick out and see, roux would cause a bird to not breed true if it was bred to Tibetan. You would get some various different offspring for the first 3 generations if you cross a Tibetan to a range, which is what Tibetan plus roux is called. So there's on both sides of it. And it would also, if somebody were to purchase a Tibetan bird that was carrying roux, but it wasn't visible, and then they tried to breed from it and ended up with a whole bunch of roux birds, that can be disheartening. So one of the things that when we are talking SOP or talking color standards or color groups, when we're starting to define the color groups like this, we want to have them be something that does basically breed true, that has a very consistent phenotype. I can tell you from experience, even when I've shadowed other judges, that when the feather color is a little bit off, or when the patterning is a little bit off because of enhancers or whatever, they question if it fits inside of the standards. So again, I am not placing these birds because they are not just Tibetan. It does show a placement on this screen because the way that the system works, if I accidentally bump a picture, it will put a placement on it and then you can't take the placement back off. But so they do have those placements in there that will move them up in the tier of the judging, but they will not get placements from this point forward. So the EBR1 male, let me find my notes on him. His feather condition, I believe, is a little bit rough. He has a good back and chest angle, and his stop on his face is a little bit strong. And then the GEBM1 rooster, there is no good angle of his beak, but overall good body shape. So that is my feedback on those two. And we can move on to the hens. And EBRF1, her back looks a little bit straight, but overall good bird. Again, she is a range. She is carrying roux, so she is not going to get a placement. EBRF2, it's a little bit hard to see in the photo just from experience. If I were to see her beak completely closed, I would maybe question if there's a gap in between her upper and lower beak. Overall, she has a good body, good slope, good angle, carrying her weight well. Again, she is range, so she's not going to place. GEBF1, feather condition could be a little bit better. I know with heat and I know with breeding, I know these birds like it's always a battle to have them in perfect feather condition. I completely understand that. I really like her body shape. She has a really good slope to her back, really good angle. Even when she's standing upright, you can see that length on her. But she also is not going to place because of the diluter.
And then, Jen, it looks like we had a question. Well, I don't know if it's a fully question, but someone said they placed the Italian hen in any other color, even if it was in the wrong category. I'm guessing it was a question why not the same both times through.
So because in any other mutation category, if there is, so there's some things that, like for me, for example, I can see heterozygous cardoon in some birds. There are some markers that pop out, but they wouldn't necessarily pop out to any person. And so if that person placed the Italian rooster into any other mutations category in good faith, knowing that it wasn't just Italian, they can't really be faulted for that if they know the genetics of their bird. But I did dock, I had wanted to place that Italian in first place. I did dock that Italian down to second place for that reason, for it being in the incorrect category. And if you go back in this video later, you can see that I did make note of that. However, it is a little bit stricter in these specific categories, whereas any other mutation, any other color is kind of like a free-for-all. So in the free-for-all sense, basically anything goes, but in these very specific categories, they need to be more specific to what they actually are. And again, you know, like with the Tibetan or with the Rosetta, and we'll use Tibetan as the example. With Tibetan and you're breeding Tibetan, you want to get Tibetan and only Tibetan every single time. Tibetan is 2 copies of the EB gene. If you add roux into that, so say you cross a Tibetan rooster to a range hen, your second generation, you're going to have a bunch of roosters that are carrying roux that are not showing it. And then you sell those birds, and somebody also wants to show in the Tibetan category, and they go and they breed, and all of a sudden they have a whole bunch of hemizygous roux hens that are popping out, and they can't use any of them to show because they are not true Tibetan. The roux kind of makes it no longer Tibetan. It actually switches into the common name of what we call range as soon as the roux is in there. So if this is a Tibetan category, it needs to just be Tibetan and not range, if that makes sense.
Yep. And then I thought it was a hen. I think that was just like saying hen instead of a rooster in there, or a rooster instead of a hen.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Tibetan
All
old
right.
female. O2.
Yes, and this is our true Tibetan in here. Tibetans can have a little bit of white under their chin and on their chest. It looks like there may be a white primary on here. It's a little bit hard to tell. And there's a little bit of argument over if a single white primary is part of the Tibetan natural phenotype or not. That's not a technical aspect that I'm going to get into fully right now. But overall, a little bit of white on the chest and on the chin probably would be allowed in an SOP, but I do know that the more universally brown Tibetan is the more preferred. Ultimately, it probably will end up being. This bird has a little bit of a straight back, but the legs are nice and parallel and handle really well. There is feather damage in the mating areas, which is allowed for in the SOP. Overall, good bird, except for would like to see a little bit more curve to the back, but this bird is going to place first because this is the true to type of all of these.
And then do you have placing on them, or is that something you did on yours?
I clicked it, but it's taking a minute.
Perfect.
There it goes.
Then I was gonna say, just making sure it'll pull it for the best of variety.
Right. And it does, but it's going to, like those other ones, they
Yeah,
weren't supposed to
just
be
take a
placed, but
second.
that was the system. So she is going to take first again, the O2.
Okay.
And I did click it. Yep. All right.
And then, do you have
She's still.
or do you have a second for the old females?
No, they are all range.
Oh, okay, that works. And then, is it just first for O2 then and best of variety?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
And then best of breed. Our Rosetta's not up here. Did you want the Rosetta? I think we said no, right? Because it was
No,
not
she's
Rosetta.
Tibetan technically. Yep.
Okay. And then best of class. Only one.
Yep.
Italian old male.
Okay, and this one again is not going to get placed. It is sparkly Italian. And going back to the same thing of this would have needed to be in any other mutation, any other color. Italian is by definition just one copy of the fawn gene. As soon as you add sparkly to it, it becomes a recipe. So while this bird is great, good slope to the back, nice strong legs, very good angle on the chest. Maybe could see a little bit stronger stop on the beak, but overall, very good looking bird. Not going to place because it is in the incorrect category. Okay, and Carmen. She is maybe porcupining a little bit in her side profile picture where they poop up their feathers, but it does make it a little bit hard to see the slope of her back. I don't believe she has a roach back, but the porcupining of the feathers is making that a little bit hard to see. It is also hard to see the angle of the photos, both in the side profile. She's kind of stepping up on with that back leg, and then in the front facing profile, she's also kicking that same leg inward a little bit. So it's hard to see if the legs are parallel or not. Overall, personal preference, her beak is a little bit longer than I would like to see, but she overall is a good bird. And then Italian hen 1, good slope to the back, maybe a little bit of a drop off right above the hips, sometimes that's just, the strength of the hips or the spacing of the hips. Nice full bird, nice full wings, good chest. A little bit hard to see the feet in these photos, but overall she looks like a good bird. Let me zoom in on the beak here. Maybe slightly short on the beak, and there is a little bit of primary feather damage, but not bad. I do not have placings for these ones yet, so we can go on to the next bird and look. FF1, good pear shape in the front profile picture, nice slope to the back. Can't quite see the angle of the chest in that side profile picture like you can in some of the others. Good strong legs, and overall good bird. Eyes are slightly, my phone's not zooming in, slightly on the round side for my taste, but a good looking bird. And then the last one, Ginger. So technically this one would be Manchurian, not Italian. Manchurian is 2 copies of the fawn gene, and I cannot tell with the photos and the lighting if there is a diluter in here, and the name can be misleading. The feathers around the neck would kind of make me think that it might have ginger, but the darkness of the feathers on the back tells me that it's maybe not ginger. I'm not going to place judgment on diluter at this point. But she is not going to place simply because she is in the incorrect category. She should be in Manchurian. So between the others, we are going to do Italian Hen 1 as first place.
Give me 1 second, Jen. Which ones did you? I can refresh it otherwise.
I'm placing them right now.
Perfect.
Sorry,
I'll refresh it
and
hopefully we'll jump on over.
All right, it should be there.
Rosetta, Tibetan.
Nope.
Manchurian. Yeah, it still doesn't say anything for fawn yet.
Oh my gosh, once a boy, once a girl.
It does for me, and it just has 2. Italian Hen 1.
There we go. Okay, Italian. There we go.
Yep.
Still took a second.
And yep. Italian Hen 1 is going to be best, and FF1 is going to be reserved.
Okay.
Oops, and somehow, we're on to Manchurian now. Okay. The PPF1 for Manchurian, it looks like it is probably pearlfy. At least from what I can tell in the lighting. Manchurian can be a little bit tricky because it does yellow it out. It is a hen, so hens in Manchurian will have a little bit more markings on their backs than the roosters do, but the lack of spotting on the chest is type accurate. But again, because
about 2 minutes out.
Because it is pearlfy, I am not going to place. And none in those groups. And Italian Hen 1 is going to be first, and FF1 is going to be reserved. And we are on to all other white. So we have a splash up first. Very nice chest angle, nice full wings. This is the point where I don't have notes anymore, so I'm doing it live. Nice parallel legs. The next one, cheeky rooster. little bit of damage to the primary feathers.
Okay, we're gonna start. We're gonna see how this goes. I'm starting on. I'm gonna get the youth waterfowl going, and so I'll be
Okay.
here and I'll stay on, but you won't hear me for a little bit. And if I'm a little slow to click next, that would be why.
Okay. That'll work. Okay, so cheeky rooster, good back slope, good chest angle, nice parallel legs. Again, a little bit of damage to the primary feathers. Cheeky rooster 2. The wing looks maybe a little bit looser. That could just be the feather condition. And the back looks a little bit straighter than the first cheeky. Bantam rooster 1 is standing very upright. That makes it a little bit hard to see the slope of the back, but the front profile or kind of front profile picture does make it look like there's a little bit more of a slope. This bird does have, I would guess, probably heterozygous white-winged pied. But overall, good-looking bird. Don't see any issues. And SFM1, probably white-winged pied, maybe some merle. Good parallel legs, good tight wings, uniform pattern. All right, we will place these.
Okay, I am back here.
All right. I just did my placements, so I'm hitting forward on those.
Perfect.
So hopefully
Okay.
they went through. All right. And then SF2 looks like probable white-winged pied. His stop is a little bit, or her stop is a little bit sharp. But overall, nice slope to the back, nice chest angle, nice parallel legs. And then SEBF1, I do like the length of her back. She looks to be maybe a little bit older and filled out a little bit more. Okay. SEBF1 is going to take first, and SF2 is going to take second.
All right, we should be best of variety for all other whites.
Yeah. And so Splash Rooster 1 is going to take best, and Cheeky Rooster is going to take reserve. And Startar, English White. a little bit hard to see from the angle how straight the back is, just kind of how the bird is standing, almost like it's balancing. Not sure quite how it's holding its weight. A good wing spread photo. Good eye shape. And that is our only English white, so it is first. And then for all the whites, we are going to Splash Rooster 1 is best. Cheeky Rooster is second. And again. Okay. On to wild type. And here again, wild type should just be wild type with no other modifiers. This should have been placed in any other white with the tuxedo. So tuxedo is one copy of dotted white. So it needs to be in that white category. This bird overall has a nice slope to the back, nice parallel legs, good beak, good eye shape, nice photos, good wing spread, but again, not going to place. It is in the wrong category. Pharaoh Rooster 1. This bird is proud. His back looks a little bit straight. He has the slightly darker mask that they can have during certain stages of breeding. Overall, he has a good beak. His eyes are a little bit round, but his legs are parallel. Pretty uniform pattern. We'll look at the rest of them before I place them. Jumbo Brown Rooster 1. So we kind of talked about this a little bit beforehand. Wild type is wild type or Pharaoh is Pharaoh. Jumbo Brown is a little bit iffy in that regard. I think we are including that as part of this category right now. And you can see the jumbo in him. Good meat, good curve to his back. Maybe a little bit of a cross beak. It's a little hard to tell with the photos. I'm going to guess maybe not, but maybe a little bit clearer beak photo would be helpful. His legs look nice and parallel. Good thick chest, nice pear shape in that front facing photo. And Pharaoh, this bird is on the young side, maybe still showing a little bit of baby spotting on the chest in the front facing photo. If it's on the older side, that is not something that you would necessarily want to breed for. It looks like from the wings, possible SLB in this bird as well. And a little bit of feather damage, but not bad. Nice almond shaped eyes. Eyes are maybe a little bit on the small side. PHM1. The next one. Looks a little bit thin maybe in the wing spread, but weight looks good otherwise in the side profile. Maybe a little on the young side. Eyes are a little on the small side. Nice strong markings on the back. Bantam Rooster 1. He's got the perfect Caternix potato body, nice chest angle and curved back. Good beak, good eye, clean chin strap. Nice parallel legs. And Bantam Rooster 3. He's a little guy. Good straight legs. Back is maybe a little bit on the straight side. Good markings. The back striations are not quite as strong on him, but the wing coverts are good looking for a wild type. All right, placements. I am going to all right, they're placed. They may take a minute. Okay, Bantam Hen. Her back looks a little bit straight. Maybe see a little bit more curve. She doesn't have much of a stop between her beak and her head. Nice almond shaped eyes. Good parallel legs. I do also have Bantam Caternix, so they are just like their standard in jumbo counterparts, just on the pint size. So you're still looking for the same angles, the same curves, that kind of thing, just on a much smaller scale. All right, so we are on PHF1, the next one. She has a nice curve to her back. Good chest spotting. Chest does not have a lot of yellowing. Little bit hard to see the legs and how she's carrying herself, but nice wing spread. Overall, good wild type. Bantam Hen 2. I don't know if it's the angle of these photos or not. Again, her back looks a little bit straight. She is standing up really proud, though. When they do stand up tall like that, it does make it a little bit harder to see the angle. You can see the pear shape in that front-facing video picture. Good markings. Beak may be a little bit on the long side. Could just be the angle of the photo. Nice almond eyes. PHF2. Good almond eyes. Good back curve. Good thick legs. Nice markings. Jumbo Brown Hen 2. And you can definitely see that she has brown in her. It does make the pattern of the wild type stand out a little bit more, or define it a little bit more between all the nuances. Nice almond eyes. The front facing photo does make her look a little bit thin, but that could just be the angle of the photo, because the side profile, she is definitely filled out. Good wing tuck. All right, and I think that's on to placing. So let me place those real quick.
Jen, quick question. Someone asked, do you think progressive pied should be placed in white instead of in other?
Yes, it is on the S locus. I didn't, if I saw it in any other mutation, I didn't dock for it, but yes, it should be in any other white.
Yep.
Stuff is jumping around on me. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, they are placed. It'll take a minute. They're showing up for me, not for you yet.
We'll start from the beginning and click our way through again.
Okay. Previous group, previous group, previous group. Okay. Best of variety should be there for you.
It's Manchurian. We're still in fawn.
That go to a 40-degree angle, and then females.
Wild type best of breed is still loading.
So anyway,
Yeah, so
Best
wild
of
type
variety.
feathers. I didn't already say
Yep.
it. We pose better.
That's where we should be. Number
Okay.
43. Yep. All right. And let me look really quick. Are you done? You're live on video, so careful what you say. My husband couldn't resist. He's in here getting a snack out of the kitchen now. All right, we are going to do. Oh, I love that little bantam, but the jumbo brown rooster is going to be first, and the decisions. And the jumbo brown hen is going to be second.
I'm pretty sure the jumbo brown hen was second for the old females, with the bantam hen being first.
Was she first?
It says in the last one that it was.
Okay. Yeah, and I thought I went back and all right, then yes.
I can swap them if you'd rather swap them.
And I had no, I wanted the bantam first, but then I went back and I was like, no, I placed her second, so I can't. But all right, just a second.
That's okay. And then best Wyandotte. They're on Wyandottes and the large fowl. Best wild type, and then best in class, best of show.
All right.
and 2 on the young pullet. White Wyandottes. Nice male to start the class.
I'm catching up.
You're
All
all
right.
good.
Best of show.
Gotta finish coming in. The picture of good yellow leg.
I'm going to have to get technical because
It's always the hardest one to judge. Is the best overall.
right.
Off their good yellow leg.
Hmm.
My issue with King is I don't know if
Like
that's
if I'm going off of feather condition and everything, which I think at this point this is where the points start to matter. Like if you have a -1/2 or a -1,
but,
it matters more up at this stage.
rod,
And
Okay. So that's what it says for the male there. I think this guy does a better job here, number 19. I go 1, 2. Just have one female here, but certainly worthy of stiffer competition. Just a little out of
the calico hen is going to be best of show.
up there in the front end. But a nice bird.
And the reserve.
She's going to be first there. Oh, phooey, that's the only 3. Okay. All right, well, we're going to go 1 and 2 there for best of variety.
Okay.
Go
The
for
reserve is going to be the Merle Fee AP hen.
For those watching, I talked a little bit about the Blue Lace.
Any last comments towards anyone? Congratulations to everyone on Champion Row. I was gonna say.
I do want to say before the end of the show, if I didn't place your bird, I hope I gave you good feedback. The placements were purely based off of what is the definition of the variety of the bird, and not as a fault of your bird itself. And I do want to say to everybody too that I am totally open to you contacting me. I did take notes for the most part on all of my feedback. I'm happy to give you detailed feedback on your bird, and you are always welcome to reach out to me with any questions or whatever as well.
Show.
I think we lost Bree.
So
There she
I'm
is.
gonna end up here, and then gotta jump over to the large fowl. So thank you so
All
much,
right.
Jen, for judging, and yeah.
Thank you.